Assalamu alaikum, I am Aabid Hussain. Welcome to the online classes at SMB QAPS school. Today, for metric class, we are going to start a topic that is called the velocity. So first of all, we will discuss about the velocity, that what is the velocity here. So before discussing about the velocity, take a short review about the speed, which we have discussed earlier in our first lecture before. So what was the speed? Speed was the distance covered in a given time, distance per time. In short, we can say by the formula that speed is equals to distance upon time. As we have discussed that speed is a scalar quantity because it do not have any particular direction. So we are discussing only and only about the distance covered. So speed into time taken. If speed is there and there was a certain time, that will be is equals to distance covered. So it means if we require the distance and speed is given and time is also given, then what formula we will use here? So let's look at the formula for the distance covered. That what will be the distance if speed is 50 meters per second and the time is 1 minute. As we know that 1 minute is equals to 60 seconds because time is taken into the seconds due to the standard units. So here speed is 50 and the time is 60 seconds. Answer will be 3000 meters. So here we have 3000 meters, but it is only a distance which is covered here. But there was a question in our mind that in which direction this distance is covered. So we do not have any particular direction in our mind that where this distance is covered here. So for that purpose, if there was only speed, then speed is defining only and only the magnitude, means given amount of the substance which is given here. So it will be called that it do not have any direction and it's a scalar quantity. So if we have a distance per time, that is the speed, and speed do not have any particular direction. As mentioned here in our this formula, that is speed is a scalar quantity due to the only and only magnitude. It means no direction. There was a magnitude but no direction. So now let's come that if there was a distance and what is the displacement, what is the main difference between the distance and the displacement here. So distance covered, it's only and only distance, but displacement is the distance covered plus the direction. It means distance plus direction is displacement, and distance is only the particular amount of the length. So here, if a body is moving from A to B body, means in a particular direction, that is 20 kilometers. But if the body is covering a long length of the route, then it will be called the distance because it is more than it. So here 15 kilometer will be the distance, and the 20 kilometer, which is the shortest distance in a particular direction, is the displacement, which is the 20 kilometer towards the north here. So in simple, we can say that speed plus direction is called the velocity. Very good. Speed plus direction is equals to velocity, which is called the velocity. So displacement covered in a time, we can say that it's velocity here. So here, if the distance was covered in the north direction, which will be the 50 meters per second in 1 minute or the 60 seconds, yes, we will take the seconds in this formula here. Then if we are talking about the particular direction here, it means it's the velocity here, because there was a particular direction in which the body is covering a displacement. we can say displacement, or we can say speed plus direction. These are the both terms which are used because here we have the north direction which is given. So north, what is the north? North is a particular direction, so it means the displacement covered here in the north direction will be called as the velocity here. So it means by the formula we can say that what will be the velocity of that substance. So here the velocity of this substance will be 55 meter per hour. As we are taking here the velocity of a substance according to the formula which is given. So if the direction is covered, then it will be the velocity. If the direction is not particular, so it will not called as the velocity, but it will be only the speed. So what will be the unit of the velocity here? As we have discussed about the unit of the speed, which was a meter per second, so the unit will remain same here, meter per second, for the velocity also. As here we can use miles per hour. It was the unit miles per hour, as we have also the British engineering system here, and the British engineering system shows the units. So here meter per second is the unit which is the SI unit, basic fundamental unit of the SI units here. System of the international units, as we have discussed about the system of the units, in which we have discussed about the system of international units, or the international system of the units as I units. Okay, so according to this the unit will be the meter per second for the velocity, as we have given here. So miles are kilometers, gallon are liters, US gallon or imperial gallon. So these are the different units which are used in the different systems, as we have discussed about these system of the units in our previous lectures here. So I hope you remind all the things which you have studied in your previous lectures here. So here we have the speed and velocity units. So there was a question about the scalar and vector. As I have told you that speed is a scalar quantity. So why the speed is a scalar quantity and why the velocity is a vector quantity? As we have discussed about the definitions here. So we can say that whenever there was a particular direction, that is the vector quantity. If there was no any particular direction, then that is scalar quantity. So now if we have here point A and point B, so if any distance is covered from A point to B point, then shortest distance between A and B is called the velocity, and the distance is named as the displacement due to the particular direction. But the other end, 50 kilometers, which is covered in 2 hours, that is the longest length of the time here. So it is called the distance here, and it will be called as the speed here if the covering of the distance in a particular time. So what is the average speed and the average velocity here? As we have discussed about the average speed, but here we will discuss also about the average velocity. The total distance upon total time is called the average speed. That was the formula. So 50 upon 2 is called the 25 kilometer per hour here. That is our average speed. So note down that what is the speed, average speed here. So average velocity, again same, total distance, again it will be the total displacement, and the total time will be the time calculated here, which will be the required for the covering displacement from point A or town A to town B. So here we will be able to put the value of the displacement, which will be the 20 km per hour at the displacement, as we have the town B, which is a particular direction, and it is covered in a particular direction, so it will be the displacement here. Displacement is only and only 20 km and 2 hours, so it will be the 10 km per hour. So average velocity is 10 km per hour, and the average speed will be the 25 km per hour. So there was a lot of difference between the average speed and the average velocity here. Here we have two vehicles, as earlier we have discussed about it. If one of them is moving with more speed, then the initial point and the final point to reach its destination, as the starting point of the both cars is same as compared to the end point. So if the distance total is 300 kilometers and time taken is 1 hour and 40 minutes, then what will be the average velocity of these vehicles here? As this is the initial point and this is same as the final point. So whenever these vehicles are moving throughout the path and they are reaching at the destination, that the final point and the initial point where from these start is the same point. So what will be the average velocity here? If according to the formula, by using the formula for the average velocity here, we will calculate the value of the average velocity. What will be the average velocity? Displacement upon the time. So what is the displacement? As initial and final points are same, then what will be the our displacement here? As compared to the destination, it is 0 because there was a same position of the starting and the final point. So our average velocity, what will be the average velocity? Average velocity of course will be the 0 because both there was no any change in the displacement here, so average velocity will be 0 here. Okay, so now here what will be the speed? Now as we want to calculate the speed of the bodies, then we will first of all put the distance here and then we will put the other values. As we have 300 kilometers and 100 minutes, and we have to convert the kilometers and minutes into the standard units. It will be the 50 meter per second. And what will be the average speed of these bodies? As it's covering the distance in the 3 hours, the average velocity was what was the average velocity? Average velocity here again will be is equals to the 0 as we have given first. So now average velocity will be the 0 for all drivers that complete the race